Okay, I'll go to the channel real fast, but I'll keep talking though, as I'll continue my thoughts. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. But continuing on with my point, as you can see right now, as we're watching the end of this kind of session tick down here, still have a little under 3 minutes to go with 19 cars putting down times, and only Brent Roberts, Briley Wright, and Tommy Withers, the only drivers yet not set times or go out there to take an attempt. And top of the board right now for the avoid the headache that can be heat racing is Daniel Michelle and Emma Kruger. So we'll see here as, again, session time ticks down here. Bren Roberts, Briley Wright, Tommy Withers elect to go out. They do have some time left on the clock. And with a lap only being about 30 seconds, you can easily get that done probably within a minute 30, minute 45 left on the clock here. So see if there's any late bloomers. But that's basically, yeah, we just kind of waiting this out for the most part here. And we can already see as we kind of jump through drivers during the qualifying sectors, it's going to be quite tricky for some cars maybe to get out of 2 and get out of 4 in certain situations, try to keep the car planted. And it looks like Briley Wright is going to attempt the lap here as he is socitioned in and he is now leaving the pit lane. So the number 8 machine is going to attempt here to try to bump his way onto the front row of the pole. Well, the front row, I should say. Or even try to get the pole. A little bit slow off the line, the Bandit Racing driver here. But with the clock ticking down here, less than about a minute to go here, he's going to have to kind of put a giddy up on his step. Considering that 2 laps around 30 seconds, it looks like he may only get 1 lap at this as the session will expire as he takes a second attempt. So just like the F1 games, it's basically a one-shot qualifying for the 8. And here he goes. Very high groove there going into 1 and 2. Not looking like the most competitive lap in the world. Here comes 3 and 4. Drifting a little bit inward. CX is off the last corner here. What can he do? Can he break into the front row shootout lockout? No, he cannot. Only going to be good enough for P18, slot between Leiter and George, as the session will come to a close. And Daniel Michelle and Emma Kruger will avoid the stress of heat racing, and they'll have their front row spots locked in. So now on the Heat 1 here, as we'll take a quick look at the driver lineups here as we wait for this everyone to kind of spawn in here. We got Joshua Gaiman and Brandon Featherplace. They will be front row of said heat here, with Edward Marshall and Tom Sears in row number 2, James Kerr and Seth Wanzing in row 3, Jack Mulkey and Matthew Leiter in row number 4, and Alfred George, Austin Pinella in row 5, and Tommy Withers will line up P11 in row number 6, and that is how these drivers are going to line up for heat number 1.
All right, good luck, heat 1.
Alrighty. 10 laps will be this heat as we get ready to go. It'll be very interesting to see how all of this plays out.
Yeah, these heat races can definitely be a indicator of a good indicator of what we're going to see during the race. It's kind of a good, like, we'll see kind of some strategies elements, passing lanes, drivers feel comfortable on certain lines. It's a kind of a good way to tell and see what we're going to be in store for when these heats done and we get to the main event.
For those that are new, or maybe haven't followed the ARCS Super Cup Series that often, what we're seeing right now, qualifying took place here, determined two really heat races, I guess would be, particularly the qualifying duels. Front row locked in based on qualifying times, inside row or inside lane determined by heat race number 1 that we're looking at right now. Heat 2 determines the outside lane for rows 2 on back. So everyone here trying to race to start 3rd, 5th, and 7th at this point in time. Out of turn 4, pace car is in. Green flag flies, and we're racing for the first time in New Hampshire.
He's going to have kind of the preferred line here. Be able to clear the 34, but the 34 is going to get a good run off here. Bit of trouble in the back. Mulkey is around. Actually, Alfred George is around. My mistake. Actually, it is Jack Mulkey. Sorry. He is around there off, too. He'll have to get it going here, but that is not how he's going to want to start his heat tonight. They're seeing a bit of a checkup there in the outside line. Looks like it's Tommy Withers is going to get slotted here, but at the end of lap 1, it's going to be Joshua Gaiman now on 9 to go here. And Feather Place, now not the only line power car with a win, as his team boss got a win last week. He's now slotted in 3rd, looking to try to get that number 14 to move up a little bit higher and trying to maybe make it back to back. But he's still got to go through the heats first.
Gaiman, top of the board pretty easily. Had a Feather Place. Tom Sears sitting in 3rd.
Oh, big mistake there. On the wall. Big lick there for
That's
Seth
Wanzing.
Wanzing. Yeah, Seth Wanzing just went deep, locked the brakes up, couldn't get it woe down, and that was a kryptonite.
Let's say Matthew Leiter involved in that as well.
Mm-hmm. How can you not be? Just a car came barreling in. There was nothing he could have done. And it just shows, like you said, it doesn't drive like a true short track race way, because you hit higher speeds than you do at tracks like Martinsville and other things, and it really matters on the brakes to get into a corner. And if you lock the brakes up, like we saw with Seth Wanzing, you could easily go flying into the outside wall.
Yeah, very much the case there. As we watch Heat 1 continue on at the front of the field, 6 cars still very much well within the fighting parameters here. Josh Gaiman leads over Feather Place and Tom Sears, and this is a race, as we see traditionally, typically takes more than 10 laps to see these tires and these cars evolve. It does make it a little bit more difficult, especially if you're in Feather Place's position, to try to make a pass happen.
Yep. They're going to catch up here on Matthew Leiter here. Hope he's not too much of an obstacle for the lead cars here, as it's Gaiman, Feather Place, and then Sears in his own little battle with Marshall. So line power 2, 3, 4. The only other line power car not having to deal with these heats. Feather Place making the grounds he needs to make, but it's going to be easy to catch, but hard to pass, especially with being kind of one major attacking groove. That being kind of where we're seeing that 61 run.
Matt Leiter up ahead. We'll see if this lap traffic has anything to do with this battle at the front of this field for Heat 1. Matt Leiter trying to stay on the lead lap. Not that it matters too awful much at the moment. No cautions in these heats.
He's just hoping for some chaos or another car to have an issue or mistake. And he can kind of try to reap up that piece, and staying on the lead lap allows him that. But if he goes one down, then if an accident happens on the last lap, he can't gain any spots because his lap will be finished. Place trying a slightly different groove there. You can see him trying to go just up a groove, maybe get a run, and then apex the corner inward, and then try to get the run off. Go a little bit lower. Working a bit here. He's feeling the comfort, and this is another advantage of these heats, is it allows you the opportunity to try some race simulation, where you only usually get that in either practice lobbies or during AI or whatever, but you don't really get the true racing experience unless you do fixed races during the week. So it's a good kind of practice for these drivers in these heats.
Matt Leiter
is not going to yield here.
Yeah, he's slowing up Gaiman a lot. But Better Place, likewise, not able to make much inroads here. Damon sends it in a little bit deeper there. Better Place in pursuit. Matt Leiter holding the very bottom lane.
It's telling you, if you want to get around me, this is the lane you're going to have to choose. Gaiman will get around here. And again, Leiter has no legions with either team.
Yeah.
He is with Black Acid, and he's got a B-Tron and a Line Power that just went by. So no association with anyone. Both have wins. So technically in the playoffs regardless, even though this is a heat race. And we're starting the final lap here. Feather Place lost a lot of time there. He's going to have to be aggressive on the sends or hope Gaiman makes a mistake. Drive off. Featherplace got a little too greedy. That almost touches the wall. It's going to cost a little bit more time down the straight through 3 and 4. Looks like to be smooth sailing for the 61. And coming off the last corner here, Josh Gaiman is going to come to the line and win heat number 1 with Featherplace in 2nd, Edward Marshall coming 3rd, Sears 4th, Pinnell 5th, Kerr 6th, Wither 7th, Althridge George going to come home in 8th, Jack Mulkey 9th, and Matthew Leiter 10th with Seth Wanzing, the only driver not to finish in this heat.
All right, onwards and upwards to heat race number 2. Tommy Reynolds and David Wright will share the front row here for heat 2, in front of Kevin Feenstra and Dustin Painter, Matthew Kitt and Ryan Pinnell in row 3. Then it's Stephen Overstat and Bradley Wright sitting in row 4. Mike LaJoy, Bryn Roberts sit in row 5 with Cody Riggs rounding out this group of 11 for heat 2. That'll determine the outside lane for rows 2 through 12.
Drivers spawn on in here. Just waiting for one more driver to creep up. That's Bren Roberts. Tommy Reynolds back after his 1-week suspension, rocking some new paints here. Usually see him in some associations with Dale Earnhardt inspired schemes or Kevin Harvick inspired schemes. Now rocking a completely different scheme here. All brown with a maroon red. Seems so. Even David Wright as well on the outside line, also rocking a bit of a new paint scheme for him too. Similar to Texas Pete sponsorship, but different color palette for that too. Lastly, let's not forget Matthew Kent in the Scooby-Doo machine there in row number 3.
Gonna be a larger grid here, looking at 24 cars. As you see the 7. New sponsorship on that car.
Okay, so we're gonna take the hard left. Green in the air. And away we go. Great launch at about the 7. Wright not going to get as good a launch. He's going to have to try to find his way in quickly here, or else he could be under attack from the 21.
Car on the wall, that's further back. That is, I believe,
Painter.
Dustin Painter, yeah.
Yep, Painter kind of hit the wall there. It stacked up Brian Pinnell too. Now they're 3 wide there. Oberstadt trying to make a piece of it. Let's come off the line here. Lap 1 is going to be led by Tommy Reynolds. They're getting very scrappy there in the back. Trying to find their footing. Some of these cars are looking to go up because, ooh, lock up there by the 38. Not as egregious as we saw with the 9.
Everyone got away with that. It's LaJoy and Bradley Wright get together, the 8 and the 88.
Oh, no, big kick out there by Oberstadt. Also, big mistake there by Mike LaJoy. 2 cars, 2 separate instances. And the big loser there is Cody Riggs, as he had nothing to do with either incident, and he ends up getting the piece, and he toes the pit lane. And that's going to be that for the 3. And we'll cut back up to the front here. You can see Tommy Reynolds taking command in first place, and you can see a bit of a train for him behind David Wright as Feemster is attacking hard. He was until he made a slight mistake there. Now he's going to fall in the clinches of Matthew Kent for 3rd. You see Feemster after that mistake had to kind of run a bit high here, got a bit of a checkup. Slot back down, trying to make the bleeding stop.
Teams are still going after the attack on David Wright once more. Vying for that second position as Tommy Reynolds opens up a second gap on the 42. Again, it's going to be an unenviable position for all the drivers on this road because they'll be on the outside lane on the initial start of the main event.
Yeah, we saw the effects of that outside line, and it's again with this league having the choose rule to kind of take advantage of. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. We see a lot of drivers probably line up on the inside. Is that outside line's only really good if you can get a run off and then slot in before losing anything. You get trained, kind of like at Martinsville, it's no bueno. Right, doing a good job here, back up the corner, making sure he kind of keeps that car wide as he needs to. Steamster's kind of getting the runs he needs, but he just can't finish it as he gets a good run and then makes a slight mistake or just runs right into the back of the 42. And so that's allowing also the other presidential racing machine, the 2 of Matthew Kent, to reel in this little battle here as well.
Really good battle so far going on. Again, for the second place, another battle further back between Painter and Bradley Wright.
Having a little scrap as well. A little bit farther, a little bit more distance, but you can see that Wright is slowly getting reeling in. And this is Wright's gaining more positions than he started as he had a kind of a poor qualifying. He's up 2 spots. So that's 2 rows he's up from where he would have been had things stayed by qualifying. So that's the advantage of the heats, while drivers like Stefan Oberstadt down 2 spots, Dustin Painter down a row from where he was.
Yeah.
Risk-reward situation, and that's why it's essential to try to get the front row if you can. Oh, Kevin Feemster with a slight mistake there. He is going to lock it down. He won't hit anything, but he's going to end up losing a couple spots. He's going to end up coughing down to 7th position. And just like that. And that's the other problem with these heats, is that if you're over-aggressive and maybe try to go for one more spot, you may end up losing a couple. So now instead of lining up in row 4, he'll now be lining up in row number 8, which is a lot farther back than that 21 wants to be. But we're coming to the white flag lap here. Tommy Reynolds, no real competition, 2 seconds clear. David Wright is looking to bring this home with no mistakes. Solid 3-foot thrower here will bring him home that checkered. Good for the most part. And as he X's off 3 and 4, David Wright nowhere in sight as Tommy Reynolds is going to win heat number 2 and slot himself in the 2nd row with David Wright, Matthew Kent, Dustin Painter, Briley Wright, your top 5, Ryan Pennell, Kevin Feemster, Michael Joy, Stefan Oberstadt, Cody Riggs, and Bren Roberts will line up the rest of the way on the outside line. So
now
we'll
have your warm-up.
Yep, I was just about to say, we'll get a 5-minute warm-up here. And usually during these warm-ups, we see different drivers do different things, but most of the time, especially in A-square competition, a lot of drivers love to practice the pit road entries and exits. And with this one being flat, it can be a bit tricky to kind of get in and get out of, especially on exit and entry. And you don't want to be the driver that didn't practice and end up making a mistake, when you could use warm-up as an opportunity to get the car woed down.
About 3 minutes, 45 seconds left here in warm-up. Watch drivers do the last final adjustments and get everything dialed in. For some drivers, if you had a mistake that was very costly in those heats, chance to figure out how you can make it better.
Mm-hmm.
For those tuning in, reminder that we will be live Tuesday and Wednesday for some road course racing. Tuesday, the start of the ABN International Sports Car Championship from Daytona. Gonna be a fun race, fun series to be a part of. The LMP1 cars and the GTE cars get their swan song this summer as we begin all of that. And then race 8 of the ABN Allen Box Cup Series season goes to Sonoma Raceway for a race over in the West Coast. Those are the next 2 streams coming up, and then the Rookie iRacing Series on Friday from Nashville. Those are the next 3 races coming up this week for ABN broadcasting. But tonight, it's all eyes here in New Hampshire for the ARCS Loudon 150 as we get ready for racing here in 90 seconds time. Kruger setting some pace here in the final warm-up. Currently 3rd fastest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, she qualified in the front row, so.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering in that degree is we were talking about at Chicago Street Course and also Atlanta last week. We were kind of wondering that after what happened, obviously, at Chicago Street Course doesn't need to really be mentioned, but we're kind of wondering as the rest of the schedule, we're going to be a bunch of question marks whether Emma Kruger could or may not have the pace. And right now, she's showing that she's doing good right now, but obviously, still 150 laps ahead of her. Let's not get, well, she doesn't want to get too complacent as the front row's good, but will look even better, a win.
And that's, I think that's a pretty pivotal thing. Like, and reminder, she's the only driver in this field that raced Thursday in the Champ Car race here in New Hampshire. Same exact track and even hotter conditions to kind of get her used to this. So she's had a little bit more track time here as warm-up comes to a close. We'll see if she can convert that front row start to a race win. For everyone, here's an idea. So what we're looking at here, just a little over a mile in length, 1.5058 to be precise. It's a bit warmer, 82 degrees, 107 degrees on track. A little bit more humid, a little bit of wind, 5-mile-an-hour winds, not terrible here in New Hampshire. Starting grid looks like this. Daniel Michel and Emma Kruger front of the field. Daniel Michel set a pole time of 30.651, with Emma Kruger less than half a tenth behind that. Josh Gaiman, Tommy Reynolds, row 2. They won their heats earlier on tonight. Brandon Feder placed David Wright in row 3. Then it's Errol Marshall and Matthew Kent, row 4. Tom Sears, last week's race winner, sits alongside the other Atlanta race winner from this year, Dustin Painter, as they make up row 5. Austin Purnell and Briley Wright make up row number 6. And as you look on further down the final 6 rows of the field of this 24-car field, James Kerr and Ryan Pinnell, row 7. Row 8 is filled with Tommy Withers and Kevin Feemster, Elris George and Mike LaJoy in row 9. Row 10, Jack Mulkey and Steven Oberstadt, with Matt Leiter and Cody Riggs in row 11. Row 12, very last row of the field, Seth Wanzing and Brent Roberts.
Yep. It should be kind of worth noting. Obviously, nothing will happen, but because it's just think about the drama and the moments. It's kind of funny in the sense that after what happened at Chicago Street Course, Emma Kruger is lined up right now in front of Tommy Reynolds. All right, pace guard going to take hard right into the pit lane. The green flag is out, and away we go. Good line shot by Kruger. Could have the opportunity to try to jump into clear turn 1. Tommy Reynolds going to stick it in, though. They're going to be 3 wide here.
Obviously, no love lost between the 7 and the 70.
Yeah. Tommy Reynolds just pushed Emma Kruger ahead enough that he could jump in. Old car off the Reds. Alfred George, another mistake by Oberstadt as well. See if either ended up getting contact with the wall. Take a quick look. Alfred George looks relatively okay.
James Kerr, less okay.
Yeah, he had a toe. No caution calls. They were 2 separate instances, so stay green. Gaiman trying to get his fender in there on Emma Kruger.
We'll look at those incidents here momentarily, but we have had a amazing battle so far early on, as Jack Mulkey also has the same fate as those the lap before. As Tommy Reynolds tries to charge forward to the front of the field out of turn 4, he'll get it happening. Tommy Reynolds now the race leader. But keep an eye on that 34, better place.
Ooh, there's a car. It's Tom Sears, Lou on the in-groove. Can anyone avoid hitting him? Caution will be called. Kevin Feemster also gets a little bit loose there as well. And that will be the first caution of the night. Which that makes... Yep.
So we have a lot to kind of break down here. We'll start with this. This is James Kerr. We're looking at the 75, center of your screen. And he gets hip checked. That's what happened to him.
Oh. Right into the tires, too.
Right where it cuts out there.
Those tires were a little bit back, you would have been fine. But Hampshire got a toe. Luckily, kind of saving grace. He has a fast repair. If he has it checked, he can use it. It's at least 1 down right now. But this caution early on allows him to rebound. So we'll take another look at the next incident here with Tom Sears. You can see the bit of mistake.
A slight contact, slight bump there by Austin Purnell. And obviously Kevin Feemster.
Yeah, Feemster either just misses him or slightly touches him. That could have been a lot worse in that situation. So the cars that finished 1-2 end up being the first 2 involved in the first caution of the night. And it kind of, that effect, as we saw kind of early on there as well, as we were kind of watching live battle, you could see that when Gaiman kind of went in, kind of pushed Kruger up the track, it caused a bit of a checkup for the 61 that caused that effect that in turn kind of caused a bit of a checkup, and according to the fact that it allowed Tom Sears to get the little bump. So one problem trickled down to the rest. So this is going to allow Briley Wright get his lap back here. As in the melee and the confusion, he did go 1 down. We got to the green here, so we're going to have choose cone next time by. No cars really came in for the most part to take service and tires. Obviously, with track possession being valuable, you want to keep it.
First caution of the night for an incident involving Kevin Feimster and Tom Sears, and as they spun through turn 2. 2 cars off the lead lap. Riley Wright, who missed the start because of a technical issue, but back on lead lap at the very tail end there in 21st. While James Kerr sits the furthest off the lead lap, 2 laps down after having to tow on the opening lap.
You see the choose effects here right now, and obviously a lot of cars wanted to be on that inside line. We see a bit of a kind of a up down situation here. As it's gonna be Reynolds obviously inside line with Michelle in row number 1, and it's gonna be Feather Place and Marshall row 2, Gaiman and Wright row 3, Kruger and Pinnell row 4, Kent and Painter will make up your first 5 rows.
Pace car will pull in the pit lane here. Wide shot through turn 4. Reynolds, Michelle, Petter Place, and Edward Marshall lead us to green. Back underway here in Loudon.
Reynolds gets the launch. You do need to get here at Loudon. It's a perfect one, so no real challenge.
Petter Place trying to follow him through. Michelle trying to hold on to that second spot. Pole sitter of this race. Already lost 1 spot, would like to not lose another.
Definitely want to, before you get the train situation, because if in that situation he makes a slight mistake, he'll luckily get clear here, but there's that risk, similar to Martinsville, that if you let the door open a little bit too long, it could allow Feather Place, Marshall, Gaiman, who have you, in, and you do not want that to happen. You can see kind of, as we see it further back here, we get a wide shot, you can see that already kind of a happening throughout the field. As drivers are kind of just trying to find the position and get in. Big mistake in the back, big wreck, Mulkey involved, Cody Riggs, big incident there.
I mean, Withers might have had a piece of it. That was George, maybe had a piece of it.
Maybe Tom Sears? No, he's okay, but Tom Sears said something radio that made me think, but yeah. All I know is all Mulkey spinning like a kettle on the back, and that's going to be the second caution of the night. And you already can see some of the effect right there.
Yeah, I'll have to go back here. It looks like that might have been Cody Riggs that actually got hip checked or turned. We'll focus here on the 3 car to Cody Riggs. Did he get help from Feimster? No, loose on his own.
Oh, it came right up in the Mulkey, and that was right into Alfred's George. Oh.
Man, oh, James Kerr got a piece of it, so he won't get a lucky dog here. That's gonna be rough. Second caution of the night. This time further in the back of the field.
Yep. We're gonna see that. Obviously, didn't see many drivers elect to pit the first caution. I don't think we're gonna see much changing here. Maybe for a little bit farther back, you may take a chance here if you were involved in the caution. But I think most drivers are gonna stay out like we saw under the first one, similar to the second one. Yep, no driver left in the pit. We're on the 2 to go here, so we're going to see Choose next time by. Actually, it looks like Briley Wright going to not come in. I was watching from his perspective. Yep, Choose going to be next time by. So like was that second caution of the night, 2 separate instances, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, like you were saying, Carmen. And now we get kind of, we've seen this some short tracks, especially in A squared, where early cautions, smooth sailing the rest of the way. So we'll have fingers crossed for that, as we'll see the chooses coming up here. See the effects to choose right here. You can see Tommy Reynolds go into the low side. Dave Michelle high. Gaiman next car in the inside line. Actually, that's Feather Place. My mistake. Got the colors mixed up. Feather Place and Marshall's row number 2. Gaiman Kruger row 3. Wright and Pinnell row 4. And Kent and Payne row 5. Not much changing for the most part. Yeah, if you are new here, wondering if we get some racing done or whatnot, trust me, these drivers are great getting the job done, getting some racing, and when kind of some early jitters, like you usually see at short tracks, once it gets kind of smoothed out here, you should have some nice, fun sailing. The pace car going to take the hard left into the pit lane. That's going to be on Ren's control in the restart box. Green flag is out, and away we go. Another great launch by the 7, and Mike Michelle did not get going. Going to be under pressure here from Feather Place.
Yeah, Michelle very bogged down on that restart. Feather Place takes second easily. Edward Marshall trying to defend from Josh Gaiman. That's for 4th.
Oh, spin there by the 83 of Leiter.
He's off
single
the track.
car incident. Yep, single car incident. Just making sure that was the case. A little blink out there for one car. He'll be back in.
To the right, side by side. That was with Austin Purnell. And there's Emma Kruger in the 8th position.
Oh, but a puff of smoke there.
In her 9th, Kent in 10th.
Look at that. You can see right there getting a little scrappy in the distance. I'm keeping an eye on a little bit, on my perspective, a little bit farther back. You can see they're 2 abreast, just outside the top 10. Matthew Kent under pressure here. A little bit of a mistake there by Feemster. We all keep it clean and keep it green. To get a bit argy-bargy back. There's Seth Wansing in that Vavely machine. Usually a strong driver. He's been a little bit bogged down the past couple weeks due to some poor results and also some personal issues. We wish him well, whatever those are. Seth Wansing back here tonight trying to find a way through that field quickly in that 9.
Michael Joy up to the top 10. I had a Matthew Kent there, who is now having to defend for his life. It's Ryan Pinnell, his team boss for Presidential Racing, going through to 11th place. As Kent and Overstat stuck on the high line. There goes Wansing, who's up 11 spots from where he started. Obviously had that crash in Heat 1. Seems to have figured that out. As we move forward there with that number 9 machine. Now battles with Ryan Pinnell and moves up to 11th place. Make that 12 spots gained for the number 9 of Seth Wansing. We're right on board with him here.
Yep. I'll give you kind of good perspective here. He's kind of in the thick of things right now, in the middle of nothing.
Dashboard in the lower side of your screen, that right side of your screen. Looks like he's staying in fourth most of the way around. Just dropped down to fifth as he got closer there to Mike LaJoy.
Yep. Went down the third there, too. So
back up to fourth into fifth. And he'll grab fourth gear here. Try to get some torque out of the corner.
And it's an element we'll see as some drivers elect, as you see at short tracks and whatnot, drivers obviously going to shift in and out, but unlike in the olden cars, sometimes could keep the car in fourth and rock in fourth. You didn't always have to switch to third at certain tracks. But this being a track you kind of want to get down to third, it's different elements, different strategies of how you want to make it work. Going up the road, we do have a battle for second brewing as it looks like Fetterplace is going to get around Daniel Michelle. They're still side by side. You can see it just in that perspective. A little blink up the road there. You can see those two cars abreast, and that is going to be the 34 and the 25. As Tommy Reynolds is getting away here, Fetterplace not wanting to allow it to happen. Now the driver in the first four really need. Oh, big look there by Michelle. And that's going to cause a checkup. Game and nowhere to go, and that's going to see the effects, and that's going to probably be a caution.
Waiting
or
for it
not.
here. I think they're waiting for everyone to kind of get around Michelle here because he is sitting in the middle of the track.
No call yet. Looks like race control is asking whether it's a caution or not.
It should be.
It should be. Looks like we're going to stay green. Relay said one car stationary. So race control.
Oh, there's trouble. That's Dustin Painter.
Yep. Painter going to keep it off the wall.
And all his time gain has gone to nothing.
Yep.
He was in the top 5.
I do wonder, as we saw that bit of a stack up there, we saw Gaiman get a little bit of a piece of it. We saw Feemster obviously lose as well. Wonder how many cars, other than obviously Michelle, have some minor damage here they're going to be trying to limp around.
Yeah, they got to go all the way to the stage break at this point in time.
Yeah, you're not pitting unless there's a caution. Even then, you may just try to tough it out, as we're not seeing that much ill effects from that 61.
A little bit latency there from Edward Marshall there in third place. I had a David Wright and Emma Kruger back up to the top 5 with obviously Josh Gaiman, one of those that are hindered the most by that damage.
One of those drivers that was a big winner, looking at the time and scoring, Seth Wansing right there behind Joshua Gaiman.
Yeah, he is right there.
Yeah. Up 16 spots, where he qualied. And we saw as we were watching the onboard of him, and that incident happened. It looks like Edward Marsh had a mistake as well. You're going to see him right there. He was just in the top 5 there fighting, and he just had a slight mistake. So another driver kind of cracking under pressure a bit.
Marshall, you can see him struggling there. He's wobbly very much out of 2.
I'll see exactly what happened. If he pancaked the wall, I'm going to guess or just get loose and cook the tires.
I don't see any damage on the right side, so I believe he may have just got loose there and locked it down.
Yep, correct. He locked it, went off 4, got a little loose, and locked it down. 100% correct call there, Carmen. As we stay rolling.
Wansing catching up to Josh Gaiman here. Looking at the edge of the top 5. It's Reynolds, Fetterplace, David Wright top 3, Emma Kruger in 4th, Josh Gaiman top 5. So far in this race. For everyone tuning in, ARCS for a Cup Series does follow traditional NASCAR Cup Series rules. So on top of the choose cone that we've already seen in action twice, you will have stages in this race as well. So there will be a pit stop everyone would be looking forward to, especially Josh Gaiman, who not completely clean on that car, having to defend from 2-time series champion Josh Gaiman. And the pressure's on. After this, only 6 weeks left till playoffs begin. So pressure 100% on for some of these drivers that are winless, like Seth Wansing, to try to get into the win column.
Yeah. pressure on. If you look at this top 10 right now, some drivers that could really use a win.
David Wright, Emma Kruger,
Seth Wanzing, Edward Marshall, Austin Purnell, Mike LaJoy, Ryan Pennell.
Yeah.
7 drivers in that top 10 do not have wins. The only drivers with wins right now are the car in first, the car in second, and the car in fifth.
Especially the drivers that joined in after those first 12 races, like Edward Marshall, they need a win just to have a chance.
Yep.
Reynolds sitting there at the front of the field, though, is not going to make it easy. He's up 2.8 over Federer Place at the moment as we sit through stage 1. Beginning to be a 4-car battle here. David Wright and Emma Kruger just ahead of Josh Gaiman. As you look at things here, stage 1 ends in just 10 laps time. Stage 40 or lap 40 for stage 1, and
right
lap
now,
80 for stage 2.
Yep. There's one other thing worth noting as well. Is I took a quick look at the points here, and remember, stage points kind of matter because look at the cars in third and fourth. David Wright and Emma Kruger. Right now, if my math is correct, using part timers and whatnot, calculating, David Wright is first driver in or maybe first driver out. But regardless, he has a slight lead over Emma Kruger right now by a few points. So right now, Emma Kruger needs to kind of hang on here to get these stage points because you don't want to end up coughing up a few extra points here to David Wright. So if Kruger, let's say, loses 2 spots here, gets passed by both Gaiman and Wanzing, instead of getting 7 points, she ends up getting 5 points. And that's instead of it being a 1-point swing to Wright's favor, it's ending up being a 4-point swing.
Kruger would be the first car out at the moment. If the playoffs started today,
correct,
Kruger would be the first one out, and
David Wright would be the first one in.
Yeah, and that margin is genuinely only 5 points.
Yep, and that's why I was saying stage points kind of matter here. If you get to win, that's great. And that's, like I said, if someone like a little bit farther down wins and gets in, then that shakes up this crystal ball. And now the cut line goes from David Wright to Ryan Pennell. And Ryan Pennell has a 30-point cushion on David Wright. Well, 28, but still bigger gap. So right now at the moment, that
gap right now is going to shrink a lot here.
Correct.
Looking at things, because David Wright's going to score, and if things stay as they are right now, David Wright's going to score 7 stage points, while Ryan Pennell scores actually 8 stage points compared to 1 for Ryan Pennell. So there's your from 28 to 21, right there in an instant.
Now you got blackjack, and next thing you know, you cut. If that thing happens in the second stage, you're cutting down another touchdown, and you're now down to 14.
Those 6 races left. That is nothing.
Yeah.
Emma Kruger likewise knows the importance of staying in that top 5 with Gaiman and Wanzing behind. Obviously, Gaiman already a race winner, but it's all about right now. It's all about points for Kruger, as it will be these next few weeks. Wanzing likewise. Wanzing already ahead of her in the points. Wanzing is one of the safest drivers, is the first car safe without a win. You do begin to sweat, though, because we have already got a bunch of race winners this season. This is the most race winners we've had so far in the ARCS Squared Cup Series in a single season. Yeah, Brandon Fennell plays currently the points leader. Tommy Reynolds in second. Josh Gaiman third. Toby Estes fourth. Dan Michelle fifth. Tom Sears sixth. All those top 6 have at least 1 race win. Wanzing and Purnell do not. You look at Bryn Roberts sitting in 9th place. He's got a race win. He's very well safe. Jerry Breo, 2 race wins. Hasn't been there for a few races as Kruger got loose.
Uh-oh.
And things begin to fall apart now for the 70 crew from 4th to 6th.
Yeah. And now she's getting under pressure from Edward Marshall, teammate,
here. And
Michael
both of them
Joy
are
there.
in a do-or-die situation.
So no love loss. Stage points being a little less than Marshall they do to Kruger, as Marshall's more in a must-win, while Kruger is obviously in a maybe point her way in situation. But Edward Marshall's not going to roll over and die. Oh, Michael Joy mistake there. Hits the wall, so we didn't see it because 2 cars back. But you can see big pancake there on that right side. Caved in the nose a little bit. So at the very least, that's going to give a little less pressure to this battle we're watching Kruger. And there's Ryan Pennell.
Now in 9th place.
Yep. Also, not a slight mistake. Ryan Pennell was able to get around.
This battle for fourth still ongoing between Gaiman and Wanzing as Kruger still pushing hard. Approaching the end of the stage, lap 38 of 40 for stage 1. Into lap 40s when the stage break will be called. Biggest gainer so far has been by far Seth Wanzing, 18 spots gained, 10 spots for Mike LaJoy. Those are the biggest gainers of the race so far.
It was almost 11 there for actually, yeah, it was almost 11 as actually he stayed where he was there, so it's still a 10-point gain. Biggest loser is obviously Dane Michelle down 18 and James Kerr down 10. So reversal of fortune, 18 and 10 in the positive gains, 18 and 10 in the negative gains. As we're starting the last lap of the stage, stage ends as soon as the leader crosses the line. And Seth Wanzing kind of knows, you can see right there, gets Gaiman just a tad loose, forces a slight mistake, but not really close enough to send it. How much does Seth Wanzing want these points? Don't think he needs to be too aggressive, but again, you don't want to end up taking a chance and rolling the dice. Tommy Reynolds is entering 3 and 4 now. Middle of 3 and 4. Wanzing's going to have to kind of be side by side through the corner. He could get it. Reynolds
just drives out too wide there. Both of them kind of chased it up the hill.
And that's line, that stage over. So I kind of saw the strategy he was trying to do, maybe get side by side, get ahead enough. If Reynolds crosses the line, you can maybe steal a point. But it was actually a lockup by Wanzing. So Reynolds first, Feather plays second, Wright third, Gaiman fourth, Wanzing fifth, Kruger sixth, Marshall seventh, LaJoy eighth, Ryan Pinnell, not Ryan Pinnell, actually it was Ryan Pinnell, sorry, and Austin Pinnell 10th. And now everyone obviously coming in to get some tires, fuel, and whatnot, get some service. But a familiar sight of that 7, seeing him winning a stage.
Cody Wiggins will get the free pass. Just going a lap down there at the end of the stage.
And that will bring him back to the lead lap.
Yep.
James Kerr, the only car currently 2 down. And Brendan Roberts not electing to start this race. So 23 cars still running. 24 cars took to the starting grid. 23 cars still running with 22 on the lead lap. Now it's up to the virtual crews. Obviously, Reynolds gets a good launch there with Cody Riggs kind of being a buffer. It gives a little bit of a Feather Pace less pressure that he has to worry about here.
See everyone coming in for service here. You see Michelle just missed his box too.
And it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. David Wright barely behind Gaiman. Gaiman's crew gets him a spot. Actually, David Wright actually gets out just ahead, so actually Wright hangs on to it by a nose hair. So no real changes in the top. So actually one change, Kruger gets out behind Marshall. So Marshall ends up jumping Kruger.
Matthew Kent may have spots there. Back to where he started.
Yeah. Something happened to Osprey now, obviously fixing damage possibly from an incident. Still on pit lane at the moment, so that's going to promote like Joy.
Several cars on pit lane. Michelle, Painter, Purnell, George, and Mulkey on pit lane.
Correct. Probably fixing damage. And they're not going to leave here in time. See, there goes the pace car. It looks like Painter and George barely beat out. Not 100% if George did it or did it not. It looks like he'll beat it by a hair again. But Michelle, not going to beat the line. So he will go 1 down here. Along with Austin Pinnell as well, still in the pit lane. Looks like they're taking the risk. Want to make sure the cars are 100% fixed, even if it takes a lap or 2 away.
You see the damage on the right side of Purnell's car, too.
Yeah. And he was still in the top 10, so he was making that thing work. But wants to kind of just get it fixed up here.
James Kerr will take the waiver route here. So we get one of those laps back no matter what it looks like. The number 75 machine of James Kerr.
And it's actually a good thing because if with these cars now 1 down, Danny Michelle and Austin Pinnell, that's going to be laps. These cars he would have. If he stay 2 down. Yeah, if he stayed 2 down, he would be not fighting the cars ahead for the lucky dog. So now being 1 down, he can now fight the cars 1 down instead of being pinned 2. So we see the choose in effect. Gami Reynolds going to go low. David Wright going to go low. Pretty much 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and 2 for first 6. So Reynolds, third place. Wright, Gaiman, Kruger, Wanzing, Marshall, Pinnell, Kent, Feemster, your top 10 here. Are going to come on in, and we are good green again here. Good launch by that 7 again. One thing he's good at, getting good launches. Wanzing going to try to get up to the line here. He's going to actually he's going to let Wright in. So Wright not going to be real ill effect here. Ooh, mistake there by Feather Place. They're going to open the door for Gaiman. See, that's good wide shot. You can see everyone trying to get single file here, find the spots. Gaiman going to get around. So put Gaiman up to second.
Wanzing trying to make a move on David Wright in the meantime as well. And McCruger got back around Marshall. Little step out by Seth Wanzing there as he tries to stay ahead of Emma Kruger.
Correct there, Carmen. Just watching the ebb and flow here. Ooh, slight tap there in the back.
Yeah, it's a little bit more argy-bargy. A little further back we go there. There's Bradley Wright on the inside of Kevin Feemster, and Tom Sears back there as well. And that is Mike LaJoy making a move on Ryan Pinnell.
And that's top 10 right there. Matthew Kent going to be kind of a pick here for the presidential machines. Just a little bit, but inside line going to prevail here.
Ooh, contact there between LaJoy and Ryan Pinnell.
And that's not going to give any favors because right now that's going to send...
Whoa, watch out, Bradley Wright just hit it.
Oh, it's Ryan Pinnell now just gone from bad to worse. Just please let it stop.
Bradley Wright almost completely out of control. Just cost Steven Overstad a chance there as well. Oh, there's a car locked up in the back. Jack Mulkey.
Yeah, Jack Mulkey. I know he had a little touch with Painter. It's gone from bad to worse at 27. Another driver in a do or die. I think it's going to be a mulligan week for him.
Yeah, he sits even before you consider race winners. He sits 17th in the points.
Yeah.
And the likes of Dustin Painter, Tommy Withers,
they're ahead.
All have race wins, yeah. And Steven Overstap. So he'd be realistically down in 20th at the moment.
Yeah, right now, just to put in perspective, he's at 455. The cut line right now is 514. So a little over, not over 100, but about 50 plus. So, and again, with David Wright getting stage points that stage, Emma Kruger, Edward Marshall, Mike LaJoy, all getting stage points, that's going to push that line further up now that he's got to try to jump.
Yeah, he'll be quickly approaching. By the time we get to Watkins Glen, if things continue as they have been for him, Watkins Glen will be a must-win for him.
One positive schedule, at least Daytona's the last race, and that's you're going to see a lot of craziness there.
Chance, yeah.
Yeah, that's the all-in at the craps table move. You don't have a win, and you're not in a situation where you can point yourself in. You got to go for it.
Oh,
there's
trouble
right there. Seth Wanzing and David Wright. Speaking of drivers that needed good finishes, David Wright involved in this, and I wonder if Wanzing had a slight little bobble, trying to maybe make a move.
And David Wright kept that throttle locked in. I would have to wonder, because now he's smoking because of that.
Yeah. Obviously, a hung throttle, not really a 100% thing you see here.
We're going to find out why. Obviously, they were already together here. And I wonder if there was a little bit of contact. There may have been a little bit of argy-bargy going into this. They were side by side, a little bit of squeezing. Into turn 3. This is again Wanting and David Wright, as they bounce off each other a little bit there in 3 and 4. And yeah.
Look for a good avoidance there. Doesn't follow the line in. Everyone else able to avoid. And yeah, like you said, David Wright just pushing Seth Wanzing down the racing surface an extra couple hundred feet. Or how many meters that would be for our non-Imperial unit watchers.
You see David Wright, worse for wear because of that. His car is smoking and Wanzing's wasn't.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be a fast repair burn for him.
Now, they were
Easy.
side by side for almost a full lap here. I wonder if there was content to draw them side by side to begin with, because they are side by side for ages.
A while. Honestly, we kind of seen that happen before. Drivers just kind of just ride it and you can't get the run off. Like Wanze wants to go up and arc the corner, he just can't get that run. White was getting better runs off corners. At least that's what I would assume. Sears, I guess we get one of the drivers get his last.
Yeah, really
bike.
dissecting this battle that they had here. Because up until that lap right where it happened, I didn't see any contact between these two. And obviously, looking at David Wright's car here, his car looks pretty fine up to this point. No fender crumpled up for Wanzing as well.
Yeah, racing clean.
Oh,
racing
there's a little bit of
your,
contact right there.
yeah, your first incident right there. And then this is going to be, I believe, the lap where we're going to see the incident.
Yeah, this would be it.
It's going to just kind of drift up a bit here. Maybe think he's clear. And just gets hooked, and that's that. And honestly, very light for Wanzing. Gets off kind of clean. The only thing he really loses is track position. David Wright, on the other hand, keeping the throttle pinned. Maybe he's thinking Wright's going to hold the brake. Maybe, Wanzing's going to hold the brake, slide off. Who knows? But that's a fast repair burned for the 42. So now he is out of fast repairs, magic wishes, and if he gets another incident, it may be curtains for the 42.
From the field, it's Reynolds, Gaiman, Fedplace, Kruger, and Marshall. Line power 3, 4, 5. Once again, stacking the front of the field. Tom Sears, the only one still kind of lingering, recovering up to the 8th place for the number 14 machine. No one in the top 13 pit under this caution.
Yep.
First driver in pit lane would have been that of David Wright, Seth Wanzing, and Tommy Withers, and Elris George taking a gamble here in stage 2.
Painter and Monkey pitted as well. Both were involved in a little incident earlier, so obviously maybe fixing some damage, getting the tires fixed. But we're coming up to choose now. Reynolds, obviously, we see him go low all this time. I'm assuming it's not going to be much change here. Feather Play's going to go low, Gaiman high, basically on, in, odd, even for the first couple rows. Now we're seeing a bit of a change. Next 3 cars go low. Mike LaJoy going to sweep up here. He's going to bet on the high side, along with Feemster and Ryan Pinnell. So Mike LaJoy was buried just outside the top 10. He's now going to be in 5th, 6th position. And it's be up to him to kind of make his magic. If he can find a way in or not get trained too quick, it's going to be a net game. He's going to come on in. And another great launch by the 7, and away we go. Joy could find his way in here. See, Kruger's going to end up keeping the spot for 4th. Michael Joy just almost there, trying to get clear of Marshall. Not going to get it done, but he find his way low here. He'll get around, keep it Feemster. That's going to be a net gain for that 88.
Oh, sends it in deep on Marshall.
Oh, okay.
He's like,
yeah,
I'm just going to over-under you here in the back straightaway. The good old Midwestern up the lace could come past you here. Marshall's like, yeah, you're not gonna do that to me.
Yeah, Marshall gonna hang on here.
Oh, contact there, quarter panel. Feemster tried to make out like a bandit, didn't work, and Kent does get turned.
Yeah, Kent got bumped, and David Wright. This is it. Everyone gonna avoid it. Michelle ends up hitting someone, and we stay green.
We stay. Tom Sears did not get so lucky there. From 8th all the way down to 19th. Trouble further down. It is 3 wide. Edward Marshall trying to go after the 88 of LaJoy. Overstat in the wall as Bradley Wright goes through for the top 10.
Mm-hmm. That's why track position matters. You don't want to be in the Hornets.
They do realize the stage 2 ends in 21 laps, right?
They do, but it's the racer mentality. You see a spot, you want a spot. Heck, we saw it last week. Week at
saw that contact there between.
Oh, Bradley Wright. That was Bradley Wright. That was Edward Marshall. Bradley Wright though ends up piling in.
I was worried about David Wright and Matthew Leiter going side by side. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Wansing and Wright. There's Smiter as well. Leiter gonna try to hang on the inside here.
I believe the soundtrack to this race might end up being Bad Blood by Taylor Swift.
Maybe.
So far, they've kept it nose to tail. This is 9th and 11th on your screen with Dustin Painter in 12th. And Line Power, who had a really firm grasp in the top 5, now has half the car in the top 5, half the car at the end of the lead lap.
Yeah, only car representing Line Power right now is the 70 and currently P4.
And Federer plays P3.
Yeah. Be helpful, I bet. Yeah, paid attention to the numbers. But regardless, yeah, you're speaking of the 34 right there, trying to maybe get around Gaiman.
Yeah, these two blue and yellow cars that are going forward here quite a lot. The Ghost Energy car and the Ukraine-colored 213 somewhere machine of Josh Gaiman. Third and fourth, Kevin Feenstra up to 5th, doing a good job so far for him. Feenstra up 11 spots, same with LaJoy. Steven Everstat up 12 spots, thanks to everyone's misfortune in this stage so far. Seth Wansing up 14, though, remains the most spots gained in this race at this point in time. And he's going to make it actually 15 as he gets around Overstap. Wansing the 9, Overstap in the 38. Sunday Money, E-Tron, Prophecy, and Black Acid all in this battle here.
Ooh, I think that's some car there. Painter, I think it was going a little loose there. Keep it straight, but let's focus on this. Wansing. Get clear here, that 38. Going to come on up safely this time. Now put him up to P number 8. There's the 88 of Michael Joy just up the road here. Oh, we have a car spinning. That's 61 of Gaiman. He's had an incident. There, you saw him right there.
And he's just now getting rolling again.
Yeah. Gaiman's been bit by the bad luck bug the past couple weeks. Almost runs into Sears there.
He's struggling. Yeah, he's got something broken here. He's going to have to tow.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tow to pit lane, and just bad to worse for the 61.
Oh, there's something that goes beyond this. Wow, just completely looped it around under braking.
Yeah, he had a mistake into 2. If we back it up a little bit, you'll see an incident right in the backstretch out of 2. You'll see the start of this right here. You'll see him just kind of ping check the wall here.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
That was a better place to get around, and then that caused the pretense what we just saw.
And Gaiman's race is over.
Yeah, he is disconnected, so again, he's thankful he's got those wins because the past couple weeks, we saw it, Chicago Street Corps had a strong run. Mistake, Atlanta, incident, this, incident. He has not been lucky. He's having a summer slump to forget, and he's just hoping the bleeding stops soon when the playoffs roll around. Like, just have 2 wins at the least. that's going to give a bit of a breathing room. It's going to be Reynolds, Feather Place, Kruger, Feemster, Pinnell, our top 5 at the moment. As Reynolds just blinks in and out for a second there. We're going to catch Jack Mulkey here. Mulkey's having a bit of an instance too. It looks like he had a little incident, a crash on the battle box. He had a few on-off track incidents. You can see right there. Look at that left front. Mulkey not actually get out of the way right away there. He'll kind of stay high here. Reynolds will get around. Don't want a Morgan Shepherd, Joe Logano incident, at the very least. So next time by, we'll be within 10 to go in the stage. Looks like Seth Wansing was able to get around Mike LaJoy, as we saw kind of a battle there. It looks like Michael Joy may have a slight inch. 2 cars will get around. Yeah, it's Michael Joy struggling on tires. There you see Feather Place trying to get around Mulkey as well. So just be a little aggressive on the inside. And he will get the job done. Battle for 4th heating up here as Ryan Pinnell's chasing down Feemster, and Feemster is just cut to it. There's Feemster, Ryan Pinnell, and you can see Wansing and Wright in the distance. Kind of negate the stage points right now. Emma Kruger needs David Wright to kind of stay where he is. At the same point right now, Ryan Pinnell, who would be is a second driver in, but if a new driver wins, he would become the cut line. Extending that gap to that 42 would definitely be a crucial thing to do here. Gap got cut down to 21. At the very least, he can kind of raise it a bit if everything holds. But presidential racing machine not going to allow the boss to go by easy here. Are going to catch Jack Mulkey. He'll keep an eye on that John Deere machine. You'll see him in the screen for a second. There he is. Oh, walk up at 21 there. Gonna hit Phoebes. Mulkey hits the wall hard. Looks like everyone will avoid it there. No one hits him. He's parked up high. Everyone will get around. And that's going to open the door for the 12 of Pinnell to get around here. And even Seth Wansing's door will be open. So just a slight bad break there with Mulkey right there trying to be aggressive to get clear of the lap car. And it cost 21 to Phoebes for 2 spots. Now possibly make it 3. As David Wright's going to come jumping on, aggressive on the brakes. Can the 21 do the switcheroo? No, he cannot. Kruger is slightly falling backwards here. Could fall into the clutches of this battle for 4th. And this little pack we're watching, she's got about a second lead on Ryan Pinnell. About 5 to go here. But look at the last laps respectively. Pinnell is 3 tenths faster than Kruger right now on track. Seth Wansing is the fastest in this little 2-pack battle we're watching here. So they are reeling in a 3rd place car, albeit slowly. Fastest car on the track at the moment is obviously our race leader, Tommy Reynolds, 30.65 last time. Actually, fast lap, 31.46 last time by. Sorry, Seth Wansing was fastest last lap. This lap, it is now actually Tommy Reynolds with 31.4. A little bit of scratching on the wall. It looked like it may have been Michael Joyce tapping it just a tad. No harm, no foul.
I've been out doing surprisingly well here on New Hampshire.
We'll knock on wood real fast so we don't jinx anybody. But we're coming to 2 to go. Well, 2 to go. Coming to the white flag lap next time by. Ryan Pinnell is being a big friend to Emma Kruger right now. As he's holding strong. David Wright almost hits the wall there. Not going to get a good run the 9. As Tom Reynolds has just started the white flag lap from the stage. Stephen Oberstadt, even though he's got a win, trying to hang on to a top 10 in the stage here, under pressure here from Painter. So Reynolds coming through 3 and 4 now. And he will cross the line right now and win stage 2, with it being Feather Place, Kruger, Ryan Pinnell, Seth Wanzing, David Wright, Kevin Feemster, Michael Joy, Matthew Leiter, and Stefan Oberstadt will hang on and get the last stage point here. And that will be the end of stage 2, and now we are racing to a finish. All drivers going to come on in here, get some fuel and tires. Make the most of it.
You ready to watch this battle off pit lane?
Brown's going to have a bit of a shorter gap than he did last time. He had a car buffer with Cody Riggs on the first pit stop window. This time by, going to have to be a little bit more on his marks if he wants to keep this lead spot coming off pit lane.
David Wright, first car off pit lane.
David Wright. 7-second pit stop.
That is a fuel-only stop.
Odd choice. I don't know if I like that call. Maybe for stage 1 you try it, but very risky choice.
We watch everyone leave pit lane here. Our Storage got the free pass. David Wright. The bold call.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel on this one, to be completely honest. It's bold, and that's 100% correct. There probably is going to be at least one more pit stop before finish. But we saw the tire ill effects. We saw Michael join a few other drivers. They were struggling. And now he's going to be on a tire disadvantage. He's probably hoping he can... Oh, Tommy Reynolds just disconnected.
Oh,
Tommy
wow.
Reynolds just blinked out of this race. He is gone right now. And even if he gets it refired, he is going to lose a lap.
Laps.
Yeah.
And laps is plural here, because he's going to fall behind. Obviously, he'll fall behind Kerr and Daniel Michelle, who I think are just in the tail end of the lead lap. No, they're going to get the wave around here.
Yeah, they're going to get the wave around. So,
He'll fall behind Mulkey, though.
Yeah, Mulkey will be one down. Gaiman obviously not counting. He is now just officially reconnected.
The only benefit for Reynolds is that he's like he's doing this under caution. But we're about to go green.
Yep, he is now officially reconnected. He's now up loading in. We'll see if he can get going before they can get around here. It's going to be a race against the clock. Seeing the choose here, you can see David Wright obviously can go inside feather place, going wide. Some little banter in the chat here, saying how Emma Kruger may have hit Alt F4 on his little keyboard, unplugged the rig jokingly. But regardless, David Wright going to try to make that car as wide as he can for as long as he can. Feather place looking to clear. And then you got two drivers needing wins in the next 2 rows, next 3 rows, you can say. Heck, you can say after that first 2 rows, everyone else needs a win. They are going to pull on in. Green flag is out, and away we go. David Wright gets a great launch here. Going to try to get ahead of that 34. I'm going to slide here. Kruger gets pinned high. Can't find her way in. He's going to let F1s and then go around.
This has turned into a pivotal race.
Yeah.
Reynolds still not back on track. He is now 2 laps down.
Keeping an eye on that 7 to see when he spawns in.
Down in 21st position, Foley. Starting lap 87. He was on lap 84. This is 3 laps.
Yep, still no sign of him spawning in yet.
Feather place gets around David Wright, who did not take tires. I believe he took tires in the middle.
Overstack!
Oh, huge trouble, and there's Leiter.
Yes! Oh, I saw that, and I was like, oh!
And Bradley Wright in big trouble, too. That 8 car was significant damage on its left side.
Ooh. Looks like Feemster's taking the blame for this, got loose. I'll have to take a look at this.
Yeah, that was a violent impact there for Steven Oberstadt, and Bradley Wright still struggling here.
Yeah,
he's got a broken right toe link. And that is a violent crash to kick off the 3rd stage. We're back on the caution for the 6th time tonight. And this is going to be a bit of why.
Yeah, we'll take a look here.
As they roll through turns 1 and 2, and Feemster does get loose, and right on the unload of the corner.
Oh, and hooks Oberstadt right into the wall. There you can see Tustin Painter, a little tap there. Gets probably the best of it. You can see another car is super slow there as well.
Yeah, Leiter got a piece of the wall there. Bradley Wright got a piece of it. Tommy Withers got a piece of it as well. And he got turned there by Tom Sears. And he's the driver we see to really take that run through the grass. Steven Oberstadt with a violent impact, though. He just gets clipped there around the exit of turn 2. Nothing he can do.
Tommy Reynolds is now officially back.
Jack Mulkey will get the lead lap back here, so Reynolds will be the only car off the lead lap at the moment as it stands, although that's probably going to be changing with this caution. We'll look at Matthew Leiter running on board with him.
He's going to get a good
He just gets loose.
Yeah.
That was going to blow a separator chute on its own. We'll go to Dustin Painter, his on board. He got a giant piece of this. So, caution number 6 of the night on lap 90. Looks like Bradley Wright used fast repair there. So we will maintain 20 cars on the lead lap as it currently sits. Better place at the front of the field. David Wright did not come down for service this time, so he's pretty confident in his decision.
Yeah.
Ryan Pennell sitting in 3rd.
It's not a horrible... If he can make that car wide, it's not awful, but I don't know. You can see the shoes in effect here. It's going different places. Feather place Pinnell front row. Riley Wright, Seth Wansing row 2. Kruger LaJoy row 3. Feemster Marshall row 4. Painter Purnell, Austin Pinnell row 5. Honestly, I'm getting right now vibes of 2021 New Hampshire race. We had Eric Almirola end up winning that in real life. Right now, you're kind of looking at the situation now. A lot of drivers hungry, needing wins. See how it all plays out. Pace car going to pull on in. Green flag is out, and away we go. Great launch by the 34. Ryan Pinnell going to try to hang on to second here. Archie Bargy for third there. They've been in kind of an eternal struggle here. Seth Wansing and David Wright with the tire advantage kind of flexing in the muscle. Seth Wansing should get clear here off corner. And he will successfully get third. Emma Kruger in the wrong lane right now, getting trained. She's going to have to find a way to get down. Ooh, David Wright. Bit of a mistake there. Dustin Painter locks it up, hits the wall. There, you'll see him right there. He plowed, another car spun. That's a 21 of Feemster. That's Mulkey, Oberstadt. That should be a caution. That will be a caution. Ellis is going to get at least one of his laps back because of this. So right now, every caution that happens, it allows someone to jump in. So now I feel like Dave Wright's got to come in here. As you see Oberstadt right there. But the problem is, if he comes in now, in theory, he could presumably maybe make it to the end. It's going to be risky. You can make it, it's about 60 odd laps. 24, 34, 44. It's about somewhere between 40 and 50 laps. It's reasonable, but I think he's made his bet. He's going to lie in it, but he's going to come in, wants to get the tires here, try a different strategy. He's going to get fouled by Austin Pinnell, Michael Joy, and a few others. Going to try to go long here. Maybe hope this thing stays green and try to reap something here. Looks like someone else may have had a connection issue drop as well. I'm trying to see who it is. Shoes will be next time by. Cars that came into service under that last window were
The car with issue is Seth Wansing.
Seth Wansing, thank you. Oh, you hate to see it. He was in a top 5 run. And now he's got to hurry back if he can. We saw these connection problems plague him in a couple of the tracks we've seen on the schedule too, so got a bit of a recurring issue, and hate to see it for the 9. But regardless, kind of recycle the field here. Cars that came out of the last stop were Ospinel, James Kerr, Kevin Feemster, David Wright, Matthew Kent, Alfred George, Dustin Painter, Stefan Oberstadt. A few cars came out in 88. That was Matthew Leiter, Tommy Withers, Dave Michelle, Bradley Wright. Everyone else pitted under the last stage break, including the top 5. Here comes the choose. Feather Plate's going to go low. Ryan Pennell high. Kruger presumably going to go high, actually, with Mike LaJoy going to go low. Edward Marshall low. Matthew Leiter high. That'll be the first 3 rows right there. Cycling through, we're going to see Sears and Michelle row number 4, and Withers and Mulkey. Mulkey having a bit of a chaotic day, currently sitting inside the top 10. Away we go. Lap 98 for a restart. Feather Plate's great launch. Ryan Pennell going to just clear himself there, keep second position. Emma Kruger going to try to get a run here for 3rd. Oh, right there, mistake. Edward Marshall has to lock it down with a little bit of Mike LaJoy. Kruger and LaJoy still going to be side by side here. Joy maybe not too thrilled what just happened. Not going to show any love loss. And he will slot into 4th position here. But let's keep our eyes on Daniel Michelle. Remember, pole sitter had that incident early on where he pancaked the wall, caused that big checkup. And now he's back here again. Instead of lead lap, oh, Emma Kruger with a mistake. Mowing the grass she is. She's going to keep it straight. No hits for anything. But she's going to go to the tail end of the longest line here, as they're getting argy-bargy in the middle pack there. Ospinel with the self-spin of self. You'll see it. Actually, you won't see it because it's a little bit farther back. He's in the grass, off track. We'll keep it rolling. Stefan's now back on the racing surface here. There's David Wright. Oh, and he's going to get helped by Tommy Reynolds. And that will be a caution. So David Wright was in a little incident. Tommy Reynolds trying to go for the home run ball there. Locked it up, kicked the other direction, and door slam, T-bone the 42. So a lot was happening there. A lot of drivers had slight mistakes. And we got a big shuffle up here, at the very least. See if anyone elects to come in here. We're going to see a few cars blank. Mike LaJoy coming in. Matthew Leiter, Tom Sears, James Kerr. David Wright, obviously, with the T-bone, wanted to come in. Oberstadt. This lap is going to allow Seth Wands to get one of his laps back. Still currently 2 down on the race leaders. Actually, now he'll be 1 down, so he has a chance to get back on the lead lap and salvage something, but he's going to need one more caution to do it. David Wright obviously having to fix some of that damage he suffered from that T-bone when he burned that fast with that incident early with Seth Wanzing when he flooded the engine. He's got to hope he can get it done quick here. See right there, David Wright pace car is currently on the backside, just crossed the line. David Wright going to get out and beat the line, so he'll stay on the lead lap. So we'll have to choose next time by here. So Feather Place probably going to go low here. Michelle going to have be kind of first challenge Feather Place is going to have here. He's going to go high. Ryan Pinnell going to go high. Jack Polke up the 4th position here. He's had a roller coaster today. He'll go low. That will be your first 2 rows. As they cycle through, it's going to be Wright and Withers, your next row. Marshall and Feemster the next. And then rounding out the side of the last row here, it's going to be Matthew Kent and Dustin Painter. So a lot of new faces here in this top 10. Drivers have had some up and down days, including Mulkey, Riley Wright, Tommy Withers, Kevin Feemster, Dustin Painter. They've all had slight mistakes. A few drivers haven't talked much of, including Matthew Kent. This is going to be quite interesting to see. Dan Michelle, another up and down day, back up to the front row since the opening laps of the race. They're going to pick a time. This is the best time to do it. And if one more caution does happen, it's going to allow Seth Wanz to get back on the lead lap. Currently P20, looking to get back on the lead lap to try to salvage something. Pace car going to take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is out, and away we go. Great launch by the 34. Michelle, good launch as well. It's going to be Mulkey and Pinnell fighting for 3rd. I can see him 3 wide in the back there. Wright, Wanzing, and all fighting in here. David Wright carving his way up the field right now. A little bit further back here. Does not change anything up front. Feather Place Michelle, 1-2 at the moment. Racy in the second pack here. Tommy Withers fighting Edward Marshall. Marshall ends up getting by Tommy Withers here. Jack Mulkey going the wrong way quickly here. You can see by that inside line there, that long shot 3 wide there. Is Matthew Kent going to try to make a move here on Emmett Kruger? He will get the job done, so put Matthew Kent up a spot. Everyone's just trying to find the footing here. Not change anything up in the front, too. It's Feather Place and Michelle there. We'll see a little bit. Oh, Kruger locks up. Maybe ran into the back of LaJoy. Sends Oberstadt. They're 4-3-4 wide right now, trying to find space. And there goes a spin around. That is Matthew Leiter. Keeps it off the tires. We stay green. So a lot of self-incidents there, but nothing really enough to cause a caution. Which is not music Wanzing wants here right now, being 1 down, this close to getting back on said lead lap. watching the battle here, just on the outside of top 10. You see a little smoke there. Edward Marshall had a slight mistake. So he'll fall back too far here, but he's just in the clutch, just on the inside there. You'll see him right there. That number 16 machine. This is getting around past bound by Jack Mulkey. And he can't, trying to get around here. Ospinell in the distance there. On the outside, this is top 10. That's the battle for 9th. There's Kevin Feemster. That's 8th position right there. Tom Sears had a quiet day. Trying to maybe get a top 10 here. Not as much pressure. Got a win last week. Doesn't have to worry about the playoff hunt here. That next 6 weeks is just kind of just do what you have to do and keep the momentum rolling. Yeah, not missing anything up front. Feather place is currently 4 attempts cleared. Michelle's keeping the gap honest. Battle for third is kind of heating up between Ryan Pinnell and Briley Wright, but still 3-2. There's Ospinell getting a little loose. Speaking of another Pinnell. There's Edward Marshall right there, getting back around Jack Mulkey. Now going up the 6th position. Right now, I think a cut back to the lead here because we got a chance here. Michelle's going to get a run here off the corner. I think he's going to try to send something here in the 3. Basically changing the gears. It looks like he'll hang back here. Odd choice. We know Michelle's better to a short run driver than a long run driver. You know, he suffers some fall off a little bit more extreme than other drivers. Drivers right now in the top 2 looking to add a second win to the collection. Feather place, last one at Gateway. Daniel Michelle, last one at Auto Club way back early in the season. Something were to happen. Ryan Pinnell currently 2.3 back of this. Speaking of the 12, there he is. 1 podium so far this season to his name. Still a long way to go to pay dirt. Trying to hang off Briley Wright. There's the battle there between Mulkey and Feemster. That's the battle for 7th. Feemster trying to do what Edward Marshall did and try to find a round because it's a big train foreman. You're going to want to clear. George having to make service. There you see the M&M's machine right there. Only 2 down. Oh man, Kent almost runs the back of the teammate. Right now, again, Michelle is getting the runs deeper in the corner. Cut the lead here, and he looks like he's going to make a chance here. Emma Kruger pitting. And Michelle looks like he's going to send it here in the 3. Sends the opportunity, and actually he'll back it down, playing a bit of possum. Had the opportunity, maybe could have sent it. Doesn't want to yet. But I wonder if he waits too long, will he lose that opportunity?
I think the big thing here is that there's a pit stop coming for some of these drivers.
Correct. Emma Kruger currently coming in. Alvin George back in again.
So the question right now is, does Michelle try to get an undercut here? Or does he try to force Feather Place to pit and overcut him? It's so hard to tell what the strategy is going to be right now.
Yeah, Feather Place last pit at the stage break. Michelle pitted under the first caution after the stage on 88. Feather Place 82. So we know Michelle can go a little bit longer if he wants. So Feather Place would blink first in that situation. My last pit stop for the longest last pit stop window would be Austin Pinnell on 101, along with Tom Sears, James Kerr, David Wright, Oberstadt, and Michael Joy. It's about a 20-ish window, so they can go a little bit longer than the cars around them.
They keep seeing the gap there. Third place Michelle over Ryan Pinnell. Gap is now 3 seconds from the first to third place car. Riley Wright sitting in fourth, trying to challenge for a podium position potentially.
My power teammate of current race leader, Edward Marshall, currently in fifth, trying to challenge for fourth.
And the further on back you go, it is literally pick your favorite driver.
Yeah.
Because they are, from Mulkey all the way down to LaJoy, are right there.
And it should be worth noting, Mulkey last pitted on 73.
Yeah.
So he has gone a long way since he last pitted. He's still chugging along.
I think he's probably the more realistic barometer of what drivers can do pace-wise. He's 50 laps in.
And actually, that's kind of interesting to note here. He went 50 laps, and remember, Austin Pinnell, Tom Sears, James Kirk, David Wright, Oberstadt, Michael Joy, Matthew Leiter. If he could go 50 laps, it's safe to assume that all those cars we just listed can go to the end. So it makes you wonder, if we don't get another caution, are they in the catbird seat? And then it raises the question, what about Matthew Kent and Dustin Painter? Can they go, if they went at 94, can they save enough laps, maybe push it a little extra longer?
You'd be looking at Feimster, yeah. Feimster's the highest one up there.
Yep, Feimster, Painter, and Kent.
Mulkey's coming in.
Yep, so Mulkey
made it 49 laps, and that is with cautions in between.
Yes.
So that kind of rules that out.
Correct. So everyone's going to have to make one stop, most likely.
Very interesting. These next 28 laps are going to be very fun.
Yeah.
Better Place holds on to the race lead ahead of Danny Michelle, but a 6-lap difference there, as you mentioned. Going to have to force Better Place in first. And Ryan Pinnell. So if you're Daniel Michelle, if you think the undercut's good, do you come in with Better Place?
It's a choice.
Because if you don't, and the undercut ends up being what works, then you're suddenly under threat by Ryan Pinnell, who is actually battling right now with Edward Marshall, who's charged his way forward.
Yep, he's up to third. So this is going to be quite interesting to see how this all plays out. Different drivers, different strategies. I think if you're in that second pack right there or watching, you got to try the undercut. You're Ryan Pinnell, Riley Wright, even Edward Marshall. He's carved up to third, but I don't like the odds he's going to run 5 seconds down for last pit stops here. If I'm him, I'm taking the undercut here by 1 or 2 laps, trying to cut that gap a little closer and see if I can run him down that way. Because Mulkey was a good proof there that you can hang on and make it work if you can run it wide, and you can kind of just be a block, if you will. So if you can get to the front, in theory, you could maybe block. If you're fast enough, you can kind of block and just be an opportunity where no one's going to get around you. And I think Marshall has the speed, he can make that work. So if I was right now in the radio booth room, I'd be like telling him, pit now, let's try something aggressive. Because you're in a must-win situation. You cannot point your way in. The win's all that matters. The only downside is if we get a caution toward the end of this, you'd be in a bad spot.
And obviously entering this race, obviously Edward Marshall, 27 points, really only ahead of Matthew Kent,
who was race controlling for the first
12 races. Cody Pinnell's a part-time driver.
Like I said, he's losing time. Like last lap, he did a 30.94. Actually, that's best time, 31.64. Leader, 31.53. And Austin Pinnell in, so he was on 101. He's coming in. So if he can't make it, no one's making it.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm really impressed with Ryan Pinnell's pace. He has stepped it up big time, especially recently. Like his back's been put against the wall, having not had a race win, and he's put in some solid results. Obviously, 10th last week at Atlanta.
Was fighting for the win lead with 20 to go, 10 to go, so he was in a good spot there too. Put in a great shift here. Obviously, you kind of hope maybe he can see on a podium, get a second podium, because his only other one was Bristol third this season. Again, if chaos happens, he may be fighting for the win. Still no blinkers at the moment. Russell's officially pulled up behind the wall. His race is done, even though it doesn't really matter with 4 wins. He's going to lock the playoffs.
Yeah.
So no real threat there, but he will call it a day here. 21 to go.
Still on pit lane for a prolonged period of time, 2 minutes and more.
Yep. It's like Sears and Wright were just fighting for 9th. Wright will get around. It's that big pack that we were watching. Everyone's kind of dobbling and dobbling. And remember, Wright was just barely ahead of Emma Kruger by a couple points here after the first 2 stages. They kind of wish-washed. And now Emma Kruger obviously one down, pitted early. She's making time on that 42.
She's actually right back here. Look at her.
Yeah.
Making moves. That's Curran for now.
Downside is she'll be a sitting duck when the overcut happens, but if she goes longer than they do, can they even reel her back down?
Right now, her lap times right now, obviously she's been going through traffic, but she's still running faster lap times here.
I feel like this undercut, obviously she's a little too far back to make it work, but I'm feeling this undercut, the longer it goes out, if you can run consistent laps. Some drivers feel, because I feel like
Emma Kruger made a very smart. Is it a race-winning decision? Probably not.
A little too far back.
But this could be an easy, like, especially if a caution happens right after she gets her lap back, she could be in a really good spot.
The only downside is, again, we haven't seen a lot of cars blink yet from this lead pack.
Yeah, they're going obviously as long as possible here.
Yeah, they can't make, obviously they want to pin her one down if caution were to come out. Obviously, Wanzing, Mulkey, Kruger, Oscar, now after George back in again for some reason. But though the car is one down, so they'd all be pinned one down. The lucky dog would go to Seth Wanzing at the moment. That could be subject to change. Kruger's carving away from the field. But now that would be Seth Wanzing. And so we got move for the lead, move for the lead. Michelle just got around.
And they both went wide there.
Yep, Michelle went deep. Feather Place did. Feather Place gonna try to check it back.
Under here.
Michelle almost pancaked the wall there. There's the battle box. Show you the intervals.
Feather Place trying to take this lead right back.
Yeah.
Looks like he'll be successful in doing that. Phenomenal battle up here.
Yeah. Looks like they're finally getting a little bit racier. Daniel Michelle finally saw an opportunity to try to get to the front here. Saw an opportunity, wanted to go for it. This is the number that he's like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm taking the lead now.
And they're going to do it again. Michelle gets to the bottom here.
They're racing like they don't have one more stop in them.
16 laps to go, coming to 15 to go. Pressure right now is on. Oh, Feather Place just side the wall.
Yep, to give some breathing room.
It seemed like Michelle had the faster car, but Michelle runs wide here in turns 1 and 2. And
it should be worth
that makes them more vulnerable.
It should be worth noting that Brandon Feather Place has gone over 50 laps, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's now officially over 50 laps on his last pit stop. Michelle's coming up to 50 right now.
Very interesting.
So you can go farther than 50.
How much further than 50?
That raises the question, because right now, then that raises the question, is David Wright in a situation where this could work out for him? If they have to pit. Because I feel like if you were going to pit, you probably would have pitted by now. Because you want time to run it back down.
It depends on if it's a splash and dash.
True. You would lose less time. Correct.
A lot less time. Yeah, that goes from it being like an 8-second standing still time to a 2-second standing still time. And that's a huge ordeal still.
Correct.
And also you have to think with, again, you look at Michelle and Feather Place, they had cautions to help them save fuel. Whereas those that have pit on 101 and later, they haven't.
No. Yeah. The only advantage, they had a full tank, but yeah. Right now, Michelle pulling away here.
Let's open up to a second.
I feel like part of me thinks he's good to go. Like I know it's like it goes against conventional wisdom, but I wouldn't be telling him go this hard out, flat out, if I felt like he wasn't gonna make it. Because you have a 7-second gap to Marshall. But then again, if you didn't push feather place could save too. It's element strategy here. But I feel like they got the green light. They got the green light special. 12 to go.
Looking for the back, probably right in time. Withers going after it.
It's the battle for top 5.
Michael Joy and David Wright going in, it looks like, as well. Just looking for the back here. Then there's the battle for the first car off the lead lap, Mulkey and Kruger. And Kruger running a little bit wide.
Actually, Seth Wansing still has that. He's a little bit ahead of this little battle. So it is technically there, but he's ahead of Mulkey.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So they'll join him eventually with
Marshall
the tire disadvantage. Marshall in. So Marshall last pitted under the 88 window, if I'm not mistaken, 82, 88 window. So he's in. Keep an eye on his pit stop window here. We'll see how long he's in. He's in his box right now. He is getting 5, 6, 7. Looks like he actually may have took tires because the clock's ticking, so.
Yeah, this is a 4-car stop for Marshall.
Maybe. We'll see if it goes over 15. Yeah, he left the box 14.63, so he's lucky to take 4 tires and just filled it up, so. They made a slight mistake.
That's a very interesting decision there.
Either he's thinking we get a green checkered, or he forgot to check the box and go for a splash.
Oh, there might be that, because that's Feimster and Bradley Wright. They just got together, and Wansing splits the Neo and goes through.
Yep,
and he still came out ahead of. Came out ahead.
Barely.
Almost got ahead of Wansing, and Wansing just got pushed through.
Yeah, that's bad for the lucky dog. Now Marshall's first one down.
And Marshall's got fresh tires.
I think Fetterplace made a slight mistake. The gap's now 4 seconds between Michelle and Fetterplace.
That's further 5 between Fetterplace and Pinnell.
It's gonna be interesting. No blinks yet.
Feels inevitable that a pit stop's coming.
You would think. Because usually when we see is the stages, usually our pretenses that you can get to the stage and not much more, especially when they did the fuel capacity change. That wasn't the right guy. Yeah, ignore that one. We are here to do some extra laps.
Yeah, Britton Roberts running some laps, just kind of clocking some laps, officially getting his points for the race.
Right now, Michelle looking good with 7 to go and no signs of him coming in.
Very wild stuff here. There's Matthew Leiter for last car only lap at the moment.
Again, I think if you were pitting, you would have pit now. I think he's good. He's good to go. So 6 to go here. Trying to get around Leiter.
Battle further back. Withers, Feimster, Wright, LaJoy.
I mean, with how hard they're racing right now, we may see a caution yet.
We'll talk about a bailout.
It would help. Like Marshall would go to the tail and longest line. The rest would have to take the wave around.
Side by side, 3 wide.
Oh,
that's going to be it.
That's going to be it, presumably. That's 2 cars. No call yet. Still no
Painter's
call.
in, but I think Painter's been in and out of pit lane.
Yeah, Kruger called. Pinnell said 1 around.
There's 2, because David Wright still hadn't got moving.
David Wright not happy with Kruger. And we're saying green.
Wow.
Race Control says we stay green. 1 car was around. They deem it a racing incident, or well, not racing incident, but not enough to cause caution. The 2 drivers fighting on the bubble.
Both are going to score. But David Wright's going to extend that gap a little bit, but not as much as he was wanting to.
No. Michelle just took 3 to go.
Looking at this battle between Bradley Wright and Matthew Kent for 7th place. James Kerr just behind it.
2 to go.
All eyes on Daniel Michelle. 1.5 miles left to play. Daniel Michelle won the 2nd race of the season at Fontana, but it's been quiet since then. One lap to go for Daniel Michelle in Sunday Monday Racing.
And even if he holds on here, it's going to look like if you look at the stat box at the end, it's like he took pole position. He had a strong race. You think that, but in reality, he didn't have a strong race. He had pole position, and then he had an incident, and then had a car was way up for the field to make it work. So at the end of the day, even though it was technically a pole position and a win, it didn't feel like anything like that. So as he comes off the corner number 4, Daniel Michelle will see the checkered flag. He'll have enough fuel, and he will win this race at New Hampshire, give him a 2nd win of the season. Feather Place going to bring it home. P2 in the 34, and Ryan Pinnell coming off the last corner will bring it home in 3rd. So Michelle, Feather Place, Pinnell, LaJoy, Withers will be your top 5.
Good points off for Withers there.
Ryan Pinnell give himself a haul of points here, just in case the cut line changes. They'll extend his lead big time over David Wright and Emma Kruger.
David Wright, race winner. We'll hear from all our podium finishers here in just a moment. But we're going to see Daniel Michelle burn it down for Sunday Monday Racing.
Yep. It's been a long time since he got his last win. Got that win the 2nd race of the season. Now with 6 to go in the playoffs. He's had a couple good moments. Saw him at road course. He was quite strong. 2nd, 3rd car at Sonoma. It was hard to tame the beast of Aiden Norman. Had that mistake at Chicago Street Course. Ended up still doing slightly wrong there. He's a good road course guy. Strong performances, and now he'll get that 2nd win. So
burn it down. Obviously, he had enough fuel for a pretty decent burnout.
Ooh, and David Wright. I was looking back at the replay. David Wright basically ran over Emma Kruger in the pit lane. So it was going to be quite interesting as we see the 25 do a Polish victory lap here.
Run by the 25. His 2nd race win of the season. Gives them a giant insurance policy here. Drivers already entering the hauler here.
Yeah, a couple of drivers clearly not happy.
Very much so the case. And it's going to be a very busy place this afternoon.
Well,
as Daniel Michelle gets another burnout in.
I can think of one driver's not going there, Daniel Michelle. I think he's had a good clean day. He's got no reason to go to the hauler. He'll be joining us in the interview room.
Absolutely.
But, yep, that 2nd win will now pump Daniel Michelle up to the 2 winners club. He will now join Aiden Norman, obviously part-timer, will not count for playoff wins, but he'll join Jeremy Breo and Joshua Gaiman with 2 wins apiece, and Tommy Reynolds has 5 on the year, so still a ways to go to catch him, but he will now join the 2 winners club on the season.
We'll start with our 2nd place finisher here. As far as the interviews go, we'll talk to Brandon Fetterplace, and then we'll talk to Daniel Michelle, and hopefully we get to talk to Ryan Pinnell as well. 3rd place finisher tonight. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I sure do. How you doing?
Pretty good. Obviously, a good run of form here. Had the lead late, but then it slips away a little bit. Kind of walk us through what happened there for you and what happened to the pacer at the end of the race. Obviously, a 6-lap difference there, but seemed like it just kind of fell away from you.
I was a short run car all day. I basically was just racing for points today. I didn't think I would have the pace for a long run, and I think that showed stage 1 and stage 2. I mean, like I said, I'm probably a 3rd or 4th place car. Reynolds was the class of the field. I mean, he should have won this thing. Gaiman was fast, and Daniel clearly was really fast. He passed me at the end because, well, I was running out of fuel. So I had to go into super save mode, and luckily I finished this with 0.2.
Yeah, it looked like Michelle was able to save a decent amount of fuel because he did some pretty decent burnouts. He even did a full Polish victory lap on that last lap. Obviously, you had to stretch out fuel there. You said you were a short run car. Were you thinking about fuel in that process? Obviously, that last run, obviously, everyone was kind of, I think, expecting more cautions there those last 50 laps, but it didn't come. Were you expecting it to go green that way, or were you? What was the thought process going there? And obviously, you had to pivot. It made it work. 2nd place tonight. But how late did that decision come as far as like figuring out what you need to do to save fuel?
I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants, to be honest with you. At that last caution, we'd had a couple, so I'm like, you know what? We're just not going to get it together, and we're going to have a couple more cautions. I'm going to be able to kind of, bring this out. And as soon as we went green, I come over the radio and I'm like, that would figure. We're staying green this whole time. I was actually short by about 4 laps at the drop of the green at that last caution. So, like I said, I'm normally the worst on fuel. And luckily I was able to pull a little bit out, but hey, Daniel did an amazing job. Look at Ryan. Ryan was 3rd. I can't say enough. He raced me, Daniel raced me clean. He raced, he's a hard racer. I'm just glad that he had enough fuel. I didn't know how much fuel he had left, but I was hoping it wasn't enough.
Obviously, and we talk about brilliant fights. Probably one of the best fights we've seen at New Hampshire. Both of you went side by side for multiple laps. Obviously, you'd get the inside, then you'd drift up, and he'd get the inside, and you did that back and forth. Obviously, New Hampshire's a track where we don't typically see that. What was it about the racing tonight that was just, once it got dialed in, it just seemed like you would just battle forever?
I think there was, if you got behind someone, you got arrow tight pretty bad. In stage 1, I burned up my right front being behind Gaiman and Reynolds. And that was just, I was trying to play that into my favor because I had that from stage 1. I knew, what it took to get that. And, I kind of, I was hoping I could get him arrow tight, get him to burn up the right front, but he just kept coming. I mean, there was no stopping him. So, good win on him. He was clearly the fastest car in stage 3. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm happy with the P2. We got good points today. Line Power did really well. Except for I see Emma back there 1 lap down. I guess something happened to her, but pretty good showing.
Yeah, really good result today. Obviously, already a race winner this season, so that kind of already just kind of gives you some reassurance into the playoffs coming up here in the next 7 weeks. But you did a phenomenal job here. Again, another really good point you mentioned for Line Power as well. Before we let you go and kind of let you cool down and relax here on this wonderful Sunday evening, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on your podium finish.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks to Ghost Energy for being on the car. Thanks to Line Power for driving with them and all the help that we give each other during the week, and all the hard work by everybody. Great communication. Thanks to y'all for the brilliant broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it. And hopefully everyone that was watching enjoyed the racing. See y'all next week.
Absolutely, Brandon. Congratulations on it. Can't wait to see what that 34 can do next week at Pocono.
Thank you very much.
That was Brandon Fetterplace, 2nd place finisher here tonight at New Hampshire, should say. We stay in the New England states next week as we head to the Long Pond, Pennsylvania area for Pocono Raceway. But we'll hear from somebody who's, again, career season for Ryan Pinnell. Another podium, third place tonight, and this time on asphalt. Ryan, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I do.
What a drive. It's very odd seeing this 12 car on a podium, and not on dirt, on pavement this time. Yeah. A very, very good performance this weekend by the number 12 crew. Walk through your race. Obviously, a podium here does a lot of wonders as far as your point standings here. Obviously, still looking for your first race win, but the points line, the cutoff line, seems to be firmly beneath you at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely what we needed. You know, I got some heat points. And, you know, I really honestly wasn't expecting to be very competitive. But I messed around with the brake bias a little bit and just really got it dialed in. The first stage, I think I ended up finishing like 8th or 9th. So, you know, a couple points, and I'm thinking, okay, I gotta do a little bit better in Heat 2. And then Heat 2 comes around, and all of a sudden I see myself, you know, up there running in 4th. And so got really good stage points for stage 2. And then at that point, I was just kind of, you know, I was happy with whatever happened at that point. But as we kept having the cautions and just the mayhem that it was back in the, you know, middle to back of the pack, I just pretty much committed to not pit again. I knew my tires would be kind of bad. But actually, my tires felt really good there at the end, and I knew that I was close on fuel, so I instantly, as soon as I came off pit road after that end of that stage, I went into save mode, and I think everybody around me didn't really realize it except for Fetter Place, and I knew that Michelle was in a better spot because he pitted, you know, about 6 or 7 laps after I did. So I was pretty sure that he could make it. But I was trying to catch Fetter Place there at the end. And I was actually closing in on him until I looked at my fuel and realized pretty quickly that I needed to just back off and just, you know, get the 3rd place, get the points. So yeah, huge points day for the 12 team. You know, it's been a while since we've been able to put together a full race from start to finish, and I honestly did not expect it to happen at New Hampshire. New Hampshire's honestly not one of my favorite tracks. I've never really been good at it, but we just got that track position and then just decided to stay out and just, I mean, as you all saw, track position was just so important. So that's what we did and came home 3rd. Was hoping that Fetter Place might run out, could have snagged a 2nd place finish. But still at the end of the day, 3rd place and got some stage points along with that. So that's a huge day for our 12 team. Did I lose y'all?
You're good. My mic was muted because I had my dog with me in the broadcast booth.
I've been there before.
But you look, obviously 6 races left. Pocono next week, and obviously Richmond, Michigan's I think a really big one for you. All these races coming up, it seems less and less likely that new race winners are going to come into the fold and really push that cut line to you. However, those 3 races, obviously, you got a surprise podium here tonight at New Hampshire. It looks like, you know, that number 12 car has been consistently running well. Obviously, a 10th place finish last week at Atlanta, but you had the ability to get a lot more. Had luck kind of been on your side a little better. Does this help you? Obviously, we talked about this at the beginning of the season. There was not probably a consideration at all that you were going to get a podium here. Does that help you as far as like your confidence going into Pocono, which will be another track that relies pretty heavily on position?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was. I agree completely with you. Starting this race in practice, I I did not have the speed that some of these other competitors had. Now again tonight, we had a little bit of luck on our side. Reynolds had some internet or some computer issues. Emma had some on-track issues, and Joshua Gaiman also had some issues. All three of them. Seth also. I mean, I was battling with Seth,
Always long.
and he unfortunately had some technical issues as well. So I mean, there were 4 drivers that were definitely faster than me especially on the short run. Our car was just really, really good on the long run. So I mean, it sucks for them, but it worked out pretty well for me tonight, and to get third. And I love Pocono and Richmond. That one's I'm not a huge fan of that, but Michigan is definitely I love Michigan. It's a great track. And it kind of suits my driving style. So looking forward to Michigan. And then, like you said, I mean, really the only other track that we have to worry about, like a new winner, that somebody that kind of just jumps out of nowhere, would be Daytona. Obviously, I'm a little concerned, a little worried about Kruger at road courses, because I know that she's bad fast. But hopefully, if I can just have these consistent points days and consistent finishes, the next 3 weeks, and just start, pulling away from the people, that are around me, the drivers or that are below me, and even trying to catch some that are ahead of me. It's going to be a huge deal. So that's what we're going to try and do. But yeah, great race tonight. Like I said, if you would have, I even said in my team chat, if you would have told me that I would finish 4th in stage 2, I would have told you to get out. Like I wouldn't even believed it. But some days you're in the right place at the right time, and tonight was just one of those days. So it was a great race, and excited to watch the real race tomorrow, and hopefully Blaney can continue the 12s. Good luck.
Absolutely. Obviously, big points day for you. You gained on Wright and Kruger, and you also gained on Kevin Feemster and Ross Purnell as far as those without a race win so far this season. Going to be very competitive these next 6 weeks. Ryan, we wish you the best of luck, obviously, next week at Pocono. If there's anyone you want to say thank you to and shout out, the floor is yours. Congratulations on your podium here tonight. You're 2nd of the season.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, first time not on dirt too, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, shout out to y'all for broadcasting this. It's always fun to go back and watch, and it's a good way for drivers, including myself, to learn. Figure out where they may have made mistakes, or where they could have did better. And then of course, shout out to my team, Presidential Racing. We did very, very well tonight. Obviously, I finished 3rd, but then Feemster came home 6th, and Kent finished in 8th. Boss had some issues. He had some technical issues too, so it knocked him out. But 3 out of the 4 of us finish in the top 8. That's a pretty big deal for a team that kind of no one really, I think, ever even thinks can be competitive. So it was good to show everybody that we still got some fight left in us, and we're going to keep racing and see if we can't get one of us a win here before the playoffs start.
You got 6 races to make it happen, and obviously a 3rd place here in New Hampshire shows that number 12 has some get up and go. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on you to next week at Pocono, and obviously we get to all enjoy New Hampshire in the dry conditions tomorrow in real life. That race begins, I believe, about noon Eastern. Ryan, congratulations on your podium finish, and hopefully this is the start of potentially more podiums these last 6 races. But enjoy it.
I hope so. Thank y'all.
That was Ryan Pennell, 3rd place finisher tonight. First podium on asphalt. He finished 3rd at the dirt race at Bristol earlier this season. But Ryan Pennell, career year continues for that number 12 team. Kept his nose clean, kept his car clean. A little bit of luck, but as I've always said, luck's the intersection of talent and opportunity. We know that talent's there in the number 12. Opportunity came knocking the night for the number 12 machine. But now we'll talk to the man of the hour. We'll talk to the race winner, Daniel Michel. His 2nd win of the season, as we like to call that, an insurance policy for the playoffs. Daniel, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You had a copy.
I got you.
What a race. Insurance policy locked in here. Second race win of the season. It's been a long time coming since Fontana back in February. But how are you feeling? That was a really fun battle to get to this point. But it's got to feel so sweet getting back to victory lane.
Definitely, it feels really good. I needed this, especially with the way that everything was going. You know, I didn't want to be involved in incidents. I just kept doing it. The way I was driving was just too aggressive, and I tried to tone it down today, and it worked out. And I'm glad. And hopefully, this is how people will see me soon. I know it's not going to take one race. It's got to be the rest of the season, but I'm trying. I'm trying not to push the issue, put myself in positions to wreck. Just take my time.
Obviously, the change, obviously, it worked tonight to perfection, but that number 25 has had pace all season long. It's no doubt at all that the second one was going to be coming at some point. It's just a matter of when. What was it that you had to change particularly for this race? Because you talk about staying out of trouble. A lot of other drivers found trouble. A lot of your teammates found trouble tonight, but you were able to be the calm of the storm for Sunday Money Racing. What was it that had to change for you as just far as like how you approach this race? Because that's a lot easier said than done. As a former as a driver that, you know, races sometimes, it's a lot easier to say it and then actually do it. What was it that you approached differently today that helped get you to a successful point?
So a big part of it was just letting off. I knew that this track already eats tires. It's going to be tough to get off the exits, tough to get in the corners on the brakes. And I knew if I send it too hard, I'm wrecking myself and everyone around me. So I just really tried to keep it together. Of course, on lap 21, I got a little too tight, got in the wall. Gaiman had no time to react. It's not his fault. And he hooked me around. And it is what it is. I was able to stay on the lead lap, put myself a lap down to repair my car, and just went forward. But the main thing was I just needed to make sure to get it in my head, hey, you're fast, you can relax, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to be something like a draft track. We're not all bunched up. You take your time, make your passes one by one, and continue on.
It worked out phenomenal tonight. Obviously, again, second race win, giant insurance policy tonight. Obviously going into the playoffs where it looked for a period of time like it was possible that we were going to have more than 16 race winners. You've done your part to make sure that that is less likely to happen, and that we sit right now, I think, with 11 or 12 race winners, with Pocono coming up. Raceway number 2 comes forward. Pocono going to be a similar track as far as, you know, needing to save tires and worrying about track position more than anything else. Do you think you can carry that forward? Obviously, a lot bigger track, 1 mile compared to 2.5. But does this sort of correlate to what you can do next week at Pocono and going forward? Because it's going to be a rough schedule. Obviously, road courses kind of right up your alley as well, coming up later in the few weeks. But Pocono next week, do you think you can start grabbing some more of those bonus points for the playoffs to begin?
Well, I don't think so. I think Pocono, I'm going to take another week to just relax. You know, if I have the pace, I have the pace. But if I'm not number 1 through 5 on the pace on long runs especially, I'm definitely going to try and just stay alive, keep it clean, and take my time, because that is a drafting track, and I know that you can get some gnarly runs down the front stretch, and I don't want to be a part of any big wrecks down the front stretch.
I definitely don't blame you on that one. We've seen some pretty crazy things happen on the front straightaway at Pocono, but you did a phenomenal job tonight. Race winner here at New Hampshire, a phenomenal effort, your second of the season. Before I let you go and kind of let you unwind and relax and celebrate this race win, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. You're a race winner for the second time this season, and all but assured a spot in that round of 16 with some bonus points in your pocket.
I just want to thank Seth. I know it's been tough. I've been a horse without reins, just going all over the place. And he's been trying to rein me in, talking to me. I know he had a rough race today, and same thing with Bren, but you know, we're going to push through it as a team. We're going to be able to continue on and move forward. And I also want to thank all the guys in the race. I know it was tough and a very hard racetrack to race, but everyone was, for the most part, trying to keep it clean. We had a few incidents here and there, and I know that I got in someone, and I apologize that I had no time to react. But you know what? I'm glad this race happened. It's very fun to be able to race like this, and I'm glad that I'm able to race with everyone.
Well, you did a phenomenal job tonight. Congratulations on your race win tonight here at New Hampshire. Pocono next week. We can't wait to see that 25 again up near the front of the field. But enjoy your race win and celebrate it. Well, we get to see you next week.
I definitely will. Yep, I'll be there.
That was Daniel Michel, race winner here tonight at New Hampshire. The full running down of the results are on your screen now. Danny Michel, Brandon Fettiplace, Ryan Pinnell. That was your podium results there, 1, 2, and 3. Mike LaJoy, 4th place. Another really good result for him as he quickly climbs through the field. He's done the same amount of races as Edward Marshall, and he is even further up the standings. He entered the night already approaching the top 20 in points. And he's, again, this I was after 6 races. He's got 7 races, now 6 left to go. He could legitimately try to point his way in with race results like that coming up soon. I have a feeling that 88 might be a threat to win a race here later on this season with 6 races to go. But clock's ticking. Tommy Withers, already a race winner at Las Vegas, locked in, and he is very thankful for that. The only issue is that if for some reason we do get 4 more race winners, he is on the outside looking in. He's the lowest driver on the points standings as it sits with the race win. But a result like this tonight, a top 5, a really good result for him. Bad luck came his way, but some good luck came today. Top 5 for him. I had Kevin Feemster, Bradley Wright in 7th place after being turned around twice. Lost both his front tires at one point in this race, but recovered to a top 10, 7th place for him. I had a Matthew Kent, who also spent some time facing the wrong direction, not through his own volition. He finished 8th tonight. James Kerr, the winless drought continues for him, but a good top 10 result. Very quiet but effective as he clawed his way back from being 2 laps down to be on the lead lap in 9th. Tom Sears, if he had no luck at all, it was always going to be bad luck, but he recovered to a top 10 finish tonight. Strategy just didn't play out for him, but he was always behind the 8 ball the moment that he got turned there in stage 1. David Wright ended up in 11th place out of Steven Oberstadt. Oberstadt had a really good run going on a couple of occasions, but in his own words, in the community, reality set in, and by reality he meant a little bit of contact on that quarter panel of his number 38 machine. Matthew Leiter likewise never fully recovered, but also struggled for pace later on in this race as we got that long green flag run. Thankfully, with Michelle saving fuel, Leiter finished on lead lap in 13th place. Edward Marshall, not so lucky. A late pit stop forced him a lap down. He tried racing it back, but no dice. 1 lap down to 14th for him. Seth Wanzing, who had a technical issue on his end, recovered to 15th place, but still wondering what it's going to take for him to finally break through and get a win. He didn't get a chance to do it at Nashville for similar reasons. With 6 races left, what can that 9 car put together to try to get back into the chase? He's never been out of the playoffs in the A-Square Cup Series. Right now, looking a little bit more testy for the number 9 crew. Jack Mulkey in 16th, Emma Kruger 17th. Obviously, Kruger made contact with David Wright there. Obviously, they're going to be talking about it in the hauler here in a little bit, so it's going to be an interesting little conversation between them. Austin Purnell in 18th place as we look further on down this 24-car grid. Dustin Painter didn't get to finish this race. 18 laps from the finish. Owers George did what he needed to do to get ahead of Tommy Reynolds and then pulled it to 20th place. Tommy Reynolds 21st after having a technical issue on his behalf and then also being involved in an incident there later on in the race. Josh Gaiman 22nd. 23rd belongs to that of Cody Riggs, and then Brendan Roberts doing the minimum that he needed to do, suffering an issue of his own, but completing 16 laps. That's going to do it from us here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Next week, we head to Pocono, but before that, Tuesday, sort of a new series, the International Sports Car Championship. It's LMP1s, LMP2s, and GTEs on the high banks of Daytona on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Wednesday, the Avon Box Cup Series rolls through Sonoma. Wine Country on Wednesday evening. That goes live 8 p.m. as well. And then Friday, the Twiggy Racing Series goes to Nashville Superspeedway, where it begins its conquest of the concrete jungle. That's the next week in review. On behalf of everyone here for the ARCS A-Square Cup Series, Darkside Mustangs, Windy Chevrolet, and Midwest Barbecue, and everyone here at AVN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna, Michael Commentator Kevin Young. We'll see you Tuesday evening at Daytona. So long, everybody.